Hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Mohamed from Runyes head office, the digital line manager for Middle East and Africa. I'm here today to introduce Dr. Mohamed Youssef. He's a Runyes user since 2020, right?
Yes.
Dr. Mohamed Youssef, one of our experts, so we will enjoy his webinar today about his cases. He will share with us his experience with the scanner and some of his cases. And today we will enjoy the lecture with him. Hello, Dr. Mohamed.
Hello, Dr. Azza. Thank you so much for such a beautiful presentation. I enjoyed your presentation very much last time. And my name is Dr. Mohamed Youssef, School of Dentistry, 2002, Cairo University. I've been practicing since then, more than 20 years now. So I've been around. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody in the team, Runyes Corporation. Really a great job, great effort, always supportive, helping the education for the dentists, and their product is really a very nice product. I enjoy using it so much. So without further ado, I'd like to start our presentation today. We're going to talk about the digital era, where we came from and where we're going, and the science behind this magic wands we're holding in our hands. And then we're going to show you a few cases of mine, and then we'll go to the conclusion. And if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy. And of course, Dr. Mohamed is the expert here. And okay, so where we came from, I remember when we used to take all these traditional impressions with the rubber-based impression materials and all the problems we were facing with the traditional impression materials. As we all know, and this case was done with one of my dear friends, Dr. Karim Abdel Fattah, for the when you have full arch implants and you're connecting the analogs and the transfers with the dental floss and reinforce it with the flowable composites to maintain the relationship between the analogs and the lab, for the lab technician to give you the required precision. And of course, we have the advantages and disadvantages for everything. And as we all remember, and Dr. Mohamed is a professor, of course, on the Crown Bridge, and he can correct me if I'm wrong, the using of the traditional impression materials, when we're using rubber-based materials, we have the additional silicone, and we have the condensation silicone, and we have the polyether. And the polyether had the advantages over the others with the working time, has the most working time needed for your impression. So if you're taking a full arch impression and you need a long working time, so you will have to go with the polyether. Otherwise, your restoration at the end, maybe you find one side is fitting properly and the other side is like have some defects, maybe not too much, but still, if you look closely, the impression materials, the condensation silicone and the additional silicone has this drawback against the polyether impression material. So we have the mixing time and the setting time, which is not available now when we are having the intraoral scanners today in our offices, and we have all the working time in the world we can use. So this is one of the great advantages in the digital era when you're using our beloved Runyes intraoral scanner. It's really the working time we are looking for. You can scan and then rescan again. If you have any defects, you can rescan again. There's no time limit for your working time. And this is like a huge advantage for the intraoral scanner over the traditional impression materials.
Now, Doctor, I came to my mind the very bad history with the traditional impression.
Yes, exactly.
A very long time to show the patient the cast, a very long time to diagnose the case, to discuss with the patient his case and the treatment plan. Now by scanning, you can get the...
You can show the patient everything on the computer, like on the spot.
Yes.
And one other thing is the gag reflex. We used to struggle with the gag reflex.
Very bad history.
for the patients. So if you have patients who have a high gag reflex, it's very difficult to take an impression. You ask him to hold his breath, you ask him to open his eyes, not to blink, raise his legs, and all these things. Yeah. These things are thankfully eliminated by using the intraoral scanners.
And sometimes you do everything in the right way, and the problem came from the dental laboratory.
Exactly.
When he's pouring the cast.
And the more the procedures and the more the human hands are introduced into the workflow, the more the errors will arise. It's like everything in the industry and everything in the world. Like when we were using back in the day, we knew that the golden standard for composite fillings is to use the total edge first, and then we use the primer, then the bone, then the composite. But nowadays we have the universal bonds, which reduces the steps we are delivering to the patient, and this will give you more accuracy and more proper outcome for your cases. What actually happens behind this beautiful object we are holding in our hands? The science applied behind the intraoral scanners. So what happens here is that the intraoral scanner captures an image for the patient's tooth or the soft tissue or whatever, and these images are processed inside the computer and the software to capture the point of interest. And the software is connecting these points of interest and matching them and making 3 points with a normal surface in between, and then and this is forming the mesh for our 3D model. And after that, we will have our STL files. The thing is, one camera, they are like taking the pictures. There are 2 cameras inside the intraoral scanner. And once they capture the X and Y, the Z is then calculated with the software to see the exact number of the exact position of the surface we are looking for. So after we finish the imaging and taking the point of interest and matching these points and reducing, usually we send the STL file to the lab technician, which is the standard distillation language file. There are actually other files we can extract from our software, which is the BLY and the OBJ, the volume file format, and the wavefront object. And the difference between the STL file and the OBJ and the BLY file is that BLY and OBJ files carry texture. The STL file doesn't carry texture. Maybe it's not applicable now in our dental work and the laboratory work we are using, but maybe in the future we will require to have texture in the presentation for the patient. And if you are showing your patient work, the texture, of course, will have a privilege there. And as you can see here in this picture I've taken from a paper, it's very important to keep a clean surface and dry surface, because if you have any saliva or any fluids in the sulcus, it will prevent the image. Can you see my cursor? Can everybody see my cursor? Yes? Yeah, I think it's visible here. So if we have a drop of liquid on our finishing line, the camera will not be able to capture our finishing line properly. So we need to have a very dry field for our camera to give us the best result. And always try to keep your margins clean, without bleeding and without any fluids, so there will be no reflection of light or refraction for capturing these images. Am I going too fast? Or,
no, I think everything is good, dear doctor. Everything is clear. The candidates are really like enjoying the lecture with you, doctor. I think everything is good and clear.
Okay, so let's go into the cases. This is one of my friends. He's been asking me to do veneers for him for like 4 years now. And as always, I was telling him, you have nothing wrong with your teeth. But for 4 years, he was pursuing me for making him some veneers. Somehow, I'm not against veneers, but I'm really picky in choosing my veneer cases. And from my point of view, this is not a candidate for Youssef, actually. But after 4 years, and he was really wanted to do them, so I finally agreed. And then we made a pre-scan for his teeth first for studying, and then we start the preparation and send our STL files to the lab. And I want to show you what actually happens in between the two steps. So this video here is the scan I made for him. And what I want to show you here is something.
This is a pre-operative scan.
No, this is the post-operative. As you can see here, this is my traction cord. I leave my traction cord in place sometimes when I'm taking the impression, as long as it's not interfering with my finishing line. So I leave my retraction cord sometimes in place. Sometimes I remove it. Sometimes I keep it in place to avoid any bleeding in the area. So I want to go back here. I want to talk about something. As you can see here, there is a green, red, like orange and yellow dots here while we are scanning, and you're using our scanner. And when you see, this is the green, and the green is like the sweet spot for your intraoral scanner. And if we move forward, as we know, we must be looking at the screen all the time while we are scanning. So when you're looking at your screen, you can see that here that the teeth are in focus, like perfectly in focus. So here you can find the green triangle, green dots into our rectangle here. But if we move further into the video, and here, oh, okay, this is the red area, and you can see here in the teeth that this area is out of focus, and here is in focus. As you can see, this is the green dots here, and this is the red areas where here it's out of focus, and here it's out of focus, and the green dots will represent the focused area. So your sweet spot always, when you are moving your scanner, you should, it has its own learning curve. It will take some time, for me at least, or until now, I still have a lot of, we are moving back and forth. Every time you will have your green spots and you will have your red spots. But as much as you can, if you can, continue your scan with the green rectangle, it will give you the best results. Am I right?
Yes, sure, doctor. I like the way you record the scanning during the scan. I like the way you discuss and explaining the colors, how to be always on the spot to get the best result.
And then after we finish, we have, as we've been talking, the ultimate working time. So we have all the working time in the world, as I was saying. So when you check your model, and then you see the green areas, which is not captured, I have like green areas in the molar area, which is not my concern. I might not go back for it. But if I have any green dots in my finishing line or in my preparations, my contact areas, I will definitely go back for them and then rescan them again. And I want to talk a little bit about the scanning techniques for everybody, for what we should be doing. We have like two techniques in the scanning process. Either we have an S-shape scanning procedure, like you're going from the vestibule to the buccal, and then the occlusal, and then you go to the palatal or lingual, whatever. Or you can go in a linear manner, where you can take like the whole buccal, and then you go for the whole occlusal, and then message.
Yes, it's related to my.
Okay. So again, when we are scanning, we have these two techniques: either the S shape, when we use taking from the vestibule to the buccal, occlusal and palatal, or lingual, and we can go from the buccal linear and then capture the occlusal and then go back to the palatal or lingual to take our full arch scans. So we already saw this, and this is how we, as we used to do in the older impressions, like taking the wash for the impressions when we have like air bubbles or something. You can go and wash your impression as many times as you want. But I would like to say that less is more. The less images you're taking, as you see, like there's always a number here at the bottom of your screen, which gives you the images taken by your camera. And the less images you are having, the less load you are putting on your processor to process the images. So when you give him a lot of images, the processor will like have a hard time collecting the images. It will collect the image at the end of the day, but it will take more time. And I think it doesn't have to do anything with accuracy. I think the accuracy will stay the same. But as long as you have your images needed for the case to be presented to your lab, it's like you just go for it. Don't overscan your model, your patient. And then after we finish the preparation and we finish the scan for the upper arch, of course, we know that we have to take the relation between the upper and lower jaws, and the scanner will align the upper and lower perfectly, and then you can send everything to the lab to send you your restorations at the end. What's really cool about the intraoral scanners still, that if you have like a reliable lab technician and you can really communicate very well with them, you can scan the case and send it to the lab immediately after you finish your scan, and then your lab technician will take a look at your preparation and take a look at the images. Is it okay? Okay, it's okay. I'm going to work on that. Maybe he needs like the contact area is not visible. Whatever he sees in your scan, he can call you immediately and tell, please rescan this part for me, and then you can do it. Other than the traditional impression materials, when we used to take impressions, send it to the lab, wait for them to pour the cast, and then see if there's any defect, and then hope to God that everything's fine. But today, actually, the things are faster. You can communicate with your lab technician really fast and get the best results. And here's one happy patient, and this is the final result for his upper and lower veneers. After we finish the upper, we made the lower for him, and he's pretty happy with the result.
Yes, he looks like very happy.
Yeah, he's smiling there.
He must be happy.
Well, it's his goal anyway.
Yes. You know, after changing his teeth, he is feeling a lot of changes. I have a lot of patients all saying that in my life before
Yes,
changing
it's
my
life changing actually.
Yes.
It's really life
totally
changing.
different the life after the changing. So he's very happy now. I'm 100% sure of this, doctor.
Okay, so is everything clear? Any questions at that part? Anybody want to ask anything? I'll be happy to answer. Of course, friends are here with me. Nope.
So if everything is clear, we can continue. Or any questions? Everything is clear.
Okay, so maybe we can take all the questions at the end if you'd like to. Okay, so the next case we're going to talk about, I'm going to show you one of the tricks I've discovered using the intraoral scanner. And here I'm scanning an implant case.
Sorry, dear doctor, we have a question.
Okay.
Imran, he raised his hands up. So, hello, Dr. Imran. If you want to share your question with us, please.
Dr. Imran, hello. You can unmute your mic and start speaking.
He can write the question on the chat, and we will check this, after this. Okay. Sorry, doctor, for interrupting you.
No. Okay, so let's continue. And here's one of my cases. I mean, like I have 2 implants in here. This is the pre-scan for the soft tissue. This is like I'm taking the upper jaw normally, and this is the gingival formers in place. As you can see, this is the first scan we are making for the implant. And then after we finish this soft tissue scan, we place our scan bodies for our implant. And of course, these scan bodies, they are provided by the implant company. And you scan your, as you can see here, this part, when you can insert your scan body from the library, which is provided to you by your implant company, and you have the STL file for your scan body. So when you insert your scan body into the software for the Runyes software here, I don't know if my cursor is visible. Yes, here. You have a cursor here. Don't look at that.
Yeah,
okay. So this cursor right here. So this place, you insert the scan body STL file for your Runyes software to recognize your scan body even faster. And when you start scanning your scan body, the software will, I will show you here. So I'm scanning my scan body now. Okay, so let's go for the next one. Okay, so let me tell you this trick first, or let's go for this one, and I'll go back for this trick. So here, as you can see, there is a blue scan body over my original white scan body. So the scan body for this system is white, but this is a blue one. And the blue one is actually the scan body that is inserted inside the Runyes software, and the Runyes software will automatically align the STL file for your scan body into the model without scanning the whole scan body precisely. And this actually facilitates a lot. You can, of course, skip this part if you want, and then the lab technician will align the scan body from the library to the your scan, ExoCAD or whatever software they're using. But the thing here is when you start scanning the scan body here, let's see, and then you will find the blue one appears, as you can see here. Oops, sorry. Let's do it again. So I'm scanning, and then it recognizes the scan body. I'll stop in a particular part. Oh, that's it. So if you can see here already, the Runyes software aligned the scan body, which is already inserted into the library for the Runyes software. And then I don't need to make another scan. I don't need to scan the whole scan body precisely in position. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like,
that's what we are calling the smart matching.
The smart matching, exactly.
Smart matching
So
feature.
this matching feature actually it's there in the ExoCAD or whatever software your lab technician is using. So what Runyes is offering us is to match it more easily before you send it to the lab, and this will save you some more time. So what trick I'm talking about here, as you can see here in my model, that this part is locked, and this part is, and I'm sure that all of you will know that you can lock your scan, and so you're not taking any more images at that point. So what I've done here in this case, I have two implants, but I have only one scan body. So if you can take a look at the scan here from the start, you will notice, sorry, again, you can notice here, here's my gingival former. But already here in the model, I have the scan body in place. Yeah. So what I've done, that I've scanned the first implant first with the scan body, and
you lock the scan.
And I locked the scan, and this is the trick I was talking about. You can have only one scan body, and you can use it for several implants in the same patient's mouth. So what I've done here, that I scanned the first one here, and then after I finished my scan for the first scan body, I have a part of my gingival former for my distal implant. So I go back and delete this part and lock this part in here. Here's the lock scan area. You will find this option on your right side in the toolbar. You can lock the scan body, which is already scanned and it's already there. You got the data you want, and then you lock it, so you're not going to take any more images at that part. And then you go back and remove anything you've captured unwanted, and you lock your scan, and then you go back and you start your scan again. So you see here that my first scan body is locked in place. There's no more images, while the gingival former is in place, and the same scan body is placed in the second implant or the distal implant here, and then I start scanning, and the magic happens.
Yes. Always, doctor, always we have a lot of questions related to the implant procedures, how we are scanning the implants, how we can we do scanning for full arch implants or more than one implant by the same scanning body. So now you are you have yes, you are answering that, and you have a lot of fans. I see on the group, lot of fans. Thank you.
Well, this will save us a lot of money.
Yes.
So if you have like 6 implants, you don't have to buy 6 scan bodies. You can only buy 1 scan. But still, I want to talk about the one part of the accuracy of the full arch scanning. And as if anybody will go through the literature, until today, it's not proven if it's okay or not okay. Like most of the literature is talking about the full arch scanning, like if you're having connected both sides.
Yes.
It's a little bit skeptical about that one.
Yes.
And in this paper, I want to, as they say, I might quote, the latest generation scanners are characterized by very low errors and full arch impressions. So maybe there is an error, maybe there isn't, because there is, and while we are talking about the accuracy of the intraoral scanners, there is 2 aspects in there. It's a little bit complicated, but I'll try to simplify it for you. There is the trueness and there is the precision.
Yes.
And the trueness, let me just read it from here. It will be easier because it's really, really like, it took me some time to understand it. So what's being said here, Michael?
The difference between the trueness and precision,
Yes.
you mean?
Trueness refers to the closeness of agreement between the arithmetic mean of a large number of test results and the true or accepted reference value. Okay, because I've been reading this like yesterday for many times. But the precision is the reference to the closeness to the agreement between the test results, which means, in my understanding, is the trueness when you have a lot of test results, like you're making a lot of scans and you are comparing these test results you are having, the 3D models, with the actual true thing.
Yes.
But the precision is when you are taking a lot of scans and you are like overlapping all these scan models together and see the precision between the scans itself and from one time to another with different.
Let's say that trueness and precision, it's a very huge medical description related to the digital technology. And let's say the difference between the trueness and the precision. Trueness is how accurate. If I want to scan something, anything, if I want to scan object, how accurate this object, I want the difference between the real object and the virtual one.
Yes, exactly.
Right? And that precision, it's if I want, if I talk, let's say 100 scans
for the same object, and see how precise I've scanned this object. But
the difference between
until today, it's like very, very hard to get the trueness, like to compare your scans with the patient's mouth. As all the things or all the studies nowadays is like they are taking an impression and putting a cast and taking an extraoral scanner and match it with the intraoral scanned ones, but still the cast can still have an error.
So from your point of view,
so the cast is not true. And the true thing is the patient only. Okay, so and nowadays, let's say I have a number here. I don't remember it. I've marked it. The precision of the intraoral scanners. Okay, so it's talking about the trueness for the precision, for the trueness for intraoral scanners. It's talking between 20 and 48 micrometers. We are talking microns here, doctors. So microns is a very, very small thing. So from my point of view, I trust my scanner. So I would try. I would always, like, if I have a full arch case, I would still scan it. Like, of course, for the veneer case, it was like separate units. So it won't affect me much. Like, it's everyone scans for itself. But if it's a bridge, I will still do the scan for it and have like a temporary thing for it, like a temporary restoration, PMMA restoration to see if the PMMA restoration fits. So there's no fear that the zirconium restoration will fit at the end, or the metal restoration, or whatever restoration you're using.
So my question is, from
Okay.
your point of view, which one is more important for you, trueness or precision?
Of course, trueness, but
Yes.
trueness is like there's no way to approve it. To like, this is true. How can
Yes.
you prove that this is true 100%? Of course, we're only human at the end. So, but from my point of view, whatever restorations we're making today is way much better from the restorations we were making yesterday. So errors like we are talking today in microns, and the precision here they are talking about from 4 to 16 micrometers. So
let's say if we are using scanners for our clinical work or daily work,
okay.
trueness is very important for us. But if we are using the scanners for our research work, academic career, papers, something we will be interested in precision more.
Well, I think if you want to compare the trueness, you will need to go on a different level for like virtual reality, where you can have these goggles where you can see your 3D model on the patient's mouth, which will cost like a load of money.
Yes.
So we are talking microns here, dear doctors. So when we used back in the day, when we used to take our impressions and see the restorations, we use our extruders to see the fitting of the finishing line, take X-rays to see the fitting of our finishing line at the end. So I believe that I will keep trying using my scanner for even for full arch cases. Maybe if it doesn't fit one day, I will let you know. So far, I haven't used it on a large scale yet. I haven't used it on a large bridge or an implant case for both sides. But still, when we want stuff like if you want to make like a surgical stent or surgical guide, and you're going to take a scan, so the precision of our intraoral scanner is way higher, and the resolution of the images we are taking from our intraoral scanners is way higher than the CBCT scans. So if there's an error, you will have to worry about your CBCT more than you're worrying about the scan. And the milling machines in the laboratories actually have a lot of margin more than these numbers. I think that the milling machines in the lab like have an error around 80 microns. So we are talking here about the trueness between like 48 microns.
Yes.
And still, the lab technician, when he will go and mill your case,
you'll have like an error with the milling machine.
Exactly.
You still have
and still, it's in microns.
Yes.
So what I want to say is a good input will give you a good output, as long as you are giving your lab technician a nice finishing line.
Yes.
And you're making a good retraction, you're giving a dry area, your images is taken professionally. I think you'll have a pretty decent, like perfect results. Okay, so as we can continue here, this is the final scan for the patient. And as you can see here, we can toggle from this part here, the scan bodies in position. This is the gingival formers. This is the, I want to go back here. Okay, just a little bit. As you can see here, this part is not scanned, but I don't care because I have the STL file attached to it. When I send it to the lab, he will attach it perfectly well at the end. Okay. Oops. Something happened.
Something wrong?
Let's see. So, any questions until this unfortunate event passes? Do you have any questions?
Doctor, if you have any question, we can answer until.
Start over.
So you can communicate with the candidates here.
Okay, so we are here. Okay, I'm here again. So this is the lab technician point of view. And this is another case. It's not the case we were showing because there are two different implant systems. And how the lab technician actually will align the STL file provided to him by the implant company. And you can see here, there is a red dot. And all what the lab technician have to do is to click on the same part. He's telling him that this is the scan body for this system. Okay, so click on this part, and this is the part for him. He will click it, and the ExoCAD will align them together instantly. Maybe it will need fewer adjustments, but it actually aligned them very good. So you can actually skip the part when you are loading your STL file for your scan body, and the lab technician will still be able to do it. But it's preferable that you load your scan body library into your Runyes. It will make your workflow more easy. And this is some parts where he chooses the abutments and define the path insertion, construct the final restoration. And all you have to do is to open the bags, have your abutments, and then they fit perfectly well, as you can see here in the pictures. This is the X-ray. This is the restoration in place and the abutments in place. So even though when we are like struggling with something, maybe this case here, I didn't have the scan body for this particular implant, so I scanned it with the metal scanning option we have in our Runyes, and it gives you a very nice and very decent result. And this pink here is my wax for blocking the abutment. And here I want to show you the finishing line. You can draw your finishing line on your software. This is actually introduced into the latest version of your software for Runyes. And here you can send the lab technician your finishing line without him imagining where is your finishing line. You can do this job and you'll have more precise illustration at the end. And this picture I'm here just to show you how the color is beautiful here, and you can see the dents in here and the enamel. Here is the preparation for the case of the veneers. You can see the difference in colors. So the scanner is actually giving us a very nice, decent image. You can show your patient and you can educate your patients really fine. I think I want to say something for closing here. Just let me check if I missed anything.
Dr. Mohamed Youssef is a very good reader. He's always checking the papers.
Well, the color thing actually is for the patient viewing. So actually, when you send these things to the lab technician, they don't use the colors when they're working. They're working with the solid models most of the time. So it's just need to show the patients. And oh, the depth of field of our beloved scanner, Runyes. And we have a depth of field is 17 millimeters. 17 millimeters. So when you go through the literature and you see that there's maybe it's a little bit hard for the scanners to capture like deep finishing lines and stuff like that. From my point of view, that the central incisors varies, like the length of central incisors from 10 millimeters to like 13 millimeters length. So I think our depth of field is pretty much sufficient for vast majorities of the cases, like 99.9%. So 17 millimeters as a depth of field for a scanner, I think it's very decent. It's done a great job for me so far. I've never complained from any finishing line I couldn't capture. As long as you can control your bleeding, and control the humidity and the fluids come from the sulcus, you'll have, at the end of the day, you'll have the best result anyone can have. And I really, really, really want to thank Runyes Corporation for such a beautiful product. And if you if you go through the literature, you find like the vast majority of dentists who doesn't use the intraoral scanners into their offices today is because of the cost. That's why we are not using, because it's very costly. And Runyes today is giving us like, it's very affordable intraoral scanner. And like I've been working with scanners since 2008, like 10 years before Runyes model was introduced into the market. And the devices back at the day was very expensive. And when I started my own office, my own practice, I really wished that I had an intraoral scanner, but I couldn't afford it. So today, Runyes gave me like an ultimate solution. It's really, really high quality product, and it's really very precise. I haven't like, there's no single case I returned to the lab. I've never scanned a case twice. Thank you very much, really, for such beautiful products. And here's hopefully my next step, as if I have an intraoral scanner, I must have the 3D printer, and it's really do a lot of work. You can do with it the surgical guides. You need tripods, light guards, and it really will facilitate your work, and I think it will take my practice to the next level. It will have its time, hopefully, in the future. Thank you so much for such a great opportunity and great day, great attendees. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Mohamed. This handsome doctor is Dr. Mohamed Youssef. Thank you,
Thank
doctor.
you so much.
You have a lot of fans
listening.
here.
I hope I haven't talked so fast. I hope I wasn't annoying.
No.
So, no questions?
No, we have something. We may have questions. Oh, really, doctor, you have a lot of fans.
Again?
Huh? Again? I will do it again. Please, Dr. Mohamed Youssef.
Well, I can't see anything on my chat here. What are you doing? You have anything here? I don't see here. So, hello.
So,
Yeah.
Mr. Abdul Karim Salim wants to thank you. He wants to speak, but he cannot do it. So, we will try to do from your. We can let him speak from your side.
Can you do it?
Yes, he's texting me already. He would like to thank you on behalf of.
Thank you, Engineer Abdul Karim. Thank you so much.
We want to thank you on behalf of Runyes. Your cases are impressive. You covered a lot of questions. Really, you covered a lot of questions. He's feeling bad because he cannot share his experience with us. So he's texting me.
I know, I can't unmute him. He's self-muted.
Yes, like
self-muted.
They have this too.
Yes. What's this? Questions? Nope. This one. Change presenter. Yes. Can we change the presenter from here?
Yes.
Give keyboard and mouse. Stop showing screen. I'm not really good at these things.
Really, doctor, I enjoyed the lecture so much. Really, you answered a lot of questions. Yeah, your way of explaining the very, very, very clear, easy. I really enjoyed.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, doctor.
Also, asking you to share that experience. We need to share that experience on a regular basis.
Of course.
A lot of cases we discussed together to find a lot of answers and solutions. And for now, we finished. So any questions? Any more questions? Mr. Abdul Karim Salim is our area director, Middle East, Africa, Turkey. Thank you, Mr. Abdul Karim. Really, I'm trying to deliver your message to Dr. Mohamed Youssef. And also, we are asking all doctors all over the world, we need to share more experiences, we need to share more cases.
We learn from each other.
Yes, exactly. We learn from each other. And we have a next webinar, so we will advertise and we will share it soon with our colleague from Spain. Very soon, he will share with us his experience also and his cases, so we will learn from each other more and more.
So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, yes, stay tuned. Thank you, Dr. Mohamed.
Thank you so much for such a great day and such a great team.
Too hot today.
Yeah, like 100 degrees here.
Yes, thank you.
So thank you so much. Hope to see you soon again. Thank you. Inshallah. Thank you. You have a good day. Bye bye.